Hi, I'm Comedian Danger, and I'm here to tell you about my comedic chapters. My start in comedy. I actually got started in 2000. I think it was 2010 when I actually got started. And I actually got started on a dare. I had my little sister was bartending at a club on Parsons Avenue in Columbus, Ohio, and she used to tell me all the time, "You need to come up there and watch it." I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna go up there." So I went up there. Me and some of my homeboys went up there just to watch the show. And my little sister introduced me to the host of the show, which was a female comedian from Cleveland named B Hard. And B Hard came up to me and was like, "Hey, how you doing? What's your name?" And I was like, "My name is David." And we was in the club. The music was all loud. So she was like, "Danger?" And I was like, "Nah, David." She was like, "Well, you Danger now." So I was like, "All right." So that night I went on stage. She was like, "Well, I'm going to give you 3 minutes." I'm like, "Man, I'm not going up there for no reason. For no reason will I go up there." I ended up going up there. She told me to do 3 minutes. I ended up doing like 15. No material, just crowd work, just picking with people in the crowd and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, that feeling was unreal. So my second time was my sister had her 40th birthday party at someplace in Columbus, and she real into church, and she told me, she said, "I want you to host my party." And I'm like, "Yo, I cuss," you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, "I don't know if you really want me to do that." So she asked me to do it again, so we did it. And after the show was over, I remember the pastor's wife. She came and talked to me, and she was like, "What do you do for a living?" And at the time, I was working at a prison. And I was like, "I'm working at the prison." And she was like, "Well, you really need to think about doing comedy." And I'm like, "For real?" I'm like, I never even really thought I was funny. I knew I was goofy, you know what I'm saying, and playing around and growing up in my house, you know what I'm saying. It was like you had to, because they played the dozens at all times, you know what I'm saying. So I never really took it serious, but after that, I was just like, yeah, this is something I want to do. It was I don't smoke or drink, so that was like the high that I hear people talk about, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, that's what I wanted, and I've been with it ever since. I've been stuck with it ever since. Groupies. I'm 51 years old, so I don't call them groupies. I just call them women that think I'm funny. Um, all right, I'm lying. It's definitely groupies out there. Thankfully, I started comedy at an older age. So, like, if I would have started comedy at 20 or 30, something like that, yeah, I probably have about 15 kids or something like that. But I started so late that, I mean, it's who doesn't want to feel important? Who doesn't want to hear a female say you handsome or blah 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 or whatever? But I it don't really do nothing for me. You know what I'm saying? To be totally honest. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's intriguing. It's intriguing at times to see females like throwing themselves at you and stuff like that. But I'm in a relationship, so I don't even worry about things like that, to be totally honest. But other than that, groupies, I could take it or leave it. Don't really do nothing for me. But like I said, I do like getting my horn tooted occasionally, but it really don't mean nothing. Travel stories. Okay. I personally don't like flying. I hate flying. So I think it's because of my size. I'm never comfortable in on planes or anything like that. So I prefer to drive. Um, I have a few, I guess I would say, horror stories with traveling. I went to it was a Friday and Saturday. Friday I was in Michigan, and then Saturday I was in Detroit, and both hotels were horrible. The one in Detroit threw me away because it was families that lived there. They actually put me in a hotel with people that lived there, so I was very uncomfortable. They didn't have an iron, and I'm a big dude, but I take pride in my appearance, so I always try to keep myself looking decent. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't have an iron, and that threw me off. So I had to spend money. I had to go to Walmart and get me a little iron or whatever. And then I had did a show in Fremont, Ohio, and I know the comedian that booked me for this is watching. So I never forget. He had the hotel that he booked me in. They had a microwave, but it was in the hallway, and the microwave was a microwave for everybody in the hotel to use. It wasn't a microwave in your hotel room. It was a microwave in the middle of the hallway that everybody had access to and everybody was supposed to use. So, needless to say, my food was cold as hell. I refused to use the microwave that everybody else was using. Trying to think any other travel stories that I may have. A lot of the hotels that they put me in, because I'm not Kevin Hart, I'm not any of the big names or anything like that yet, are horrible. I've stayed in hotels that didn't have washcloths and towels. I've stayed in hotels that I could hear things going on next door that honestly I was jealous I wasn't a part of. But just certain things that were happening in hotels, and I travel alone a lot. So yeah, I've had a few stories, but nothing too crazy, nothing really out of the ordinary or anything like that. But I do love traveling. So promoters, please keep booking me. Advice is funny because, like I said, I've been in the game over 10 years and I still seek advice. I still ask questions from the OGs and stuff that I work with. But I have local comedians and younger comedians ask me all the time for advice. My advice is kind of short and sweet. My advice is get on as many open mics as you can. Take your craft serious. Anything somebody that's established in the game tells you to do, for the most part, as long as you see it's feasible for you, do it. It makes total sense. Again, like I said, the open mics are extremely important. Write at all times. And a lot of people like myself, I don't carry paper with me to write stuff down. I do everything through my phone. So if I feel something, I'll just say it into my phone and then maybe I'll write it down later or something like that. But my biggest advice would be open mics, never stop writing, and listen to the people that are in situations that you want to be in. My dream comedy show, man. I've been on one of them. When I first started, I got to host a show in Flint, Michigan, with Pierre, Michael Blackson, and Red Grant. I was like 3 years in the game when that started. So that's my comedy show that I think that was a dream that I actually fulfilled. But one that I would love to do now is I would love to be the host. I would like to have Kevin Hart, Patrice O'Neal. My headliner would definitely be Bernie Mac. That's my celebrity dream show. My dream show of comedians that I've performed with already would probably be myself hosting, Darren Brand from Wildin' Out, who that's my dog right there. He put a lot of game in me and we work together a lot. So it would be myself hosting, it would be Darren Brand, it would be Mark Gregory, and the last comic would probably be, I'll probably go with my dog, Rhoda Realist. That's a comedy show that I really want to do now. My comedy goals, my I would say my biggest goal is I want to be a household name. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that might sound cliche for a comedian, but I do. I want to be a household name. I want to do commercials. I've been in two movies already. They didn't really go anywhere. Shout out to Elephant Entertainment, but I've been in two movies. One's called The Detroit Boys, and the other one's called Killing Season. You can look them up on. Now you have to reach out to the producer because they didn't go nowhere, but they was fun. We had a good time with them. But my goal is I want to do commercials. I want to do movies. Stand up wise, I just want to be a household name. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to compare myself to nobody, but I want specials. I want a tour. I want to do all of that, and it's close. It's on the way. I feel it in my spirit that it's really going to happen. I speak it into existence because I feel it. I know it's happening. So just look out for me. I'm coming to a city near you. I promise. My heckler story. I really don't have a lot of heckler stories because I'm the type of comedian that I'm trying to gain supporters. So I usually don't like shit on the crowd or anything like that. I don't do stuff like that. But the I would say the worst heckler story I probably had was I was doing a show in Dayton and it was at a strip club. And it was actually one of my first paid shows. It was in Dayton, Ohio, at a strip club. And not only was it at a strip club where they could care less about comedy, I was actually on stage with the strippers performing. So I never forget, like, I didn't even have a response, so the heckler won this one. All I remember was I'm up on stage and I'm trying to tell jokes, and the ladies are spinning around. It was like a spinning carousel. So as I'm in front, it's actually a stripper going around me. So I'm talking, I'm trying to give them the best that I got, and this dude in the front row, Lord forgive him, but he just blurts out, "Man, sit your big ass down. We don't want to see you." And I say he won because I had no response. I just kind of looked at him like, "All right, y'all enjoy the rest of your night." And I walked off the stage. He won. He got me. He got me. What would I be doing if I wasn't in comedy? What I also do right now, with the exception of comedy, is pretty much what I would be doing if I wasn't doing comedy. I work with adults with mental disabilities, and I've been there 7 years. I've been in the field almost 25 years. So that's pretty much that would be, if I wasn't doing stand-up at all, I would continue to work in this field. It's always been my passion working with that type of population. So definitely, no questions asked. I would still remain in the field that I'm in right now if it wasn't for comedy. My childhood was dope. It really was. We grew up pretty much, I ain't gonna say, I guess I could say middle class. Dad was a construction driver. Mom did hair. So, yeah, my childhood was dope. Grew up on the north side of Columbus, Ohio. Two brothers. How many sisters do I have? Two brothers, three sisters. Family is, like, even to this day, very close knit. Father died my dad died in '06. Complications from drugs. Mom is a superhero. Our family is extremely small though. Like, for instance, a couple weeks ago, we was over at my aunt's house playing cards, and I was like, "Yo, won't we ever like have family reunions and shit, like other families doing stuff like that?" And my cousin Sherry was like, "Boy, this is a family reunion," and it was literally like 10 of us there. And unfortunately, that's it. My family is small as heck, but we so close. Like, I'm going to see them as soon as I get done today. But growing up in my family, you had to have thick skin because I'm the comedian, but my mom is by far the funniest person in my family. Like, I grew up, like, I thought my name was Jackass till I was like 15. And to this day, she still calls me that. So, like I said, I wouldn't trade a single thing about my family. My childhood was dope. I played football and basketball forever. So, I'm not one of them comedians that got like a poor sob story. I didn't grow up poor or anything like that. I didn't grow up in the hood or nothing like that. But yeah, I wouldn't trade my childhood for anything, man. I actually wish my childhood on a lot of people right now, for sure. So I'm happy, fat and happy.